to prove them wrong. I was like, what do I have in this life that makes me happier than making music, than singing? I learn something new every single day doing music because, like I said, like I didn't have money to have music lessons growing up. So I get to teach myself. And that is such a gift, to be able to teach myself and be around other artists. I just couldn't imagine my life being
anything different.
This is gonna piss some people off, but like,
who cares?
Anything less than what makes me happy would be subpar and would be average. And I don't ever imagine, I've never imagined my life being average. So
100%. Sippin' with Sakari. But first, thank you so much for doing this.
Oh my God, of course.
It's so cool to see you. I haven't seen you in fucking years and years. It's crazy,
bro. So wild.
Yeah, for sure. But life obviously happens and life goes on and people do amazing things. Like yourself. You're doing some pretty cool stuff. So I don't want to mess this up. Bidea. See, look, I didn't want to, So Diana
totally
Bidea,
fine.
Diana Bidea.
Yes.
Is here with us.
Yeah.
Right now.
Doing it.
It's very cool. So thank you so much for joining me on another episode of Sippin' with Sakari. What are you sipping on? Are you sipping on anything?
Some red wine.
Ooh, I got some Chardonnay. I'm a light baby, so I'm sipping on some Chardonnay.
There you go. I'm a wino. I'm like a wine gal. I love wine. Okay. I'm super into it. Like I'm so into wine culture these days. So
really exquisite.
So into it. Yeah. I'm like learning. They're so interesting. I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, it's a whole
cheers.
World. It's cheers. Cheers to you. Everything that's going on with you. Thank you. So how have you been? First and foremost, like, how have you been?
Been busy, been good, been in like a really amazing transitional space. It's been really important for me over this year to like really solidify how I take care of my mental health and how I,
number one,
like, yeah. And I've learned and developed like new practices and tactics of like journaling and things to like meditate on and manifest, and like they have been so vital in the way that I've been moving recently over the past like 6 months. It has just been like a complete change in who I am. So yeah, it's just kind of been a steamroll of like optimism and like great opportunities since I started really focusing on my mental health. So amazing. Yeah,
that's number one. So Diana Bidea is with us right now, New York City based artist, R&B, soul, but you have a classical background. Please speak a little bit about, I guess, who you are, a little bit where you're from, for those that don't know you.
Okay, so I'm from Long Island. Long Island. I grew up in Nassau County in Massapequa Park, went to Farmingdale High School. You gotta be specific, because if people mistake that I'm from Massapequa, it's very different. Totally. That I went to Massapequa High School, very different. I was classically trained in school. I always knew I wanted to sing. Like that wasn't, it wasn't like something that I woke up one day when I was like 12 and was like, you know what, I want to try singing. Like I popped out of the womb wanting to sing. It's a very like, very divine intervention type of thing. But I always wanted to sing. I couldn't wait to join chorus. And then when I got to middle school, they started like heavily teaching, like traditional classical music. I kind of rode that wave through high school. I couldn't afford to have private voice lessons, but the voice teacher that did a lot of work with kids from Farmingdale, she really saw a lot in me and gave me voice lessons for free because she knew that I was going through it.
Who is this teacher? Shout her out. Who's this teacher?
Nicole Nappy.
Okay.
Nicole Nappy. Yeah, she really developed my voice. And Michelle Lindsley, who literally taught me the ethics of singing. And Nicole Nappy like allowed me to have, you know, free voice lessons, and she like really took care of me, and her parents were so kind. We did lessons in her house, and she was just incredible. And I went through a lot my junior year of high school. Like, you know, when you go through a lot that you don't even remember anything from that time period.
It's a blur.
It's a blur, like completely blackout. Like, I don't remember prom, anything after my 16th birthday. I don't remember until I'm about 18. So I didn't end up going to school for classical music. I got a full scholarship and I didn't go because I
really,
yeah, my like heart, I was just so internally screwed up. Like, I was going through so much personal stuff that I was like, I can't do this, and I'm not going to, and I'm not going to force myself to do it. Okay. And then I was supposed to go for lacrosse, and I was like, I'm not going to do that either. I'm just going to piss everybody off. I'm like, let's do it. Like, if I'm going to mess up, I'm going to mess up at 100 miles per hour. Like, I'm going to really, really piss some people off. But it ended up being the best thing for me, because I would not be the same person, I think, if I went to college for either of those things. Okay. So yeah.
So what happened? What happened?
I at 18, I knew I wanted to be out of my house at 18. I was like, I want to be gone. I want to leave. So I moved into the city. I did an acting conservatory at the New York Film Academy.
Okay.
I made some of the best friends ever, and I got completely slapped in the face with the real world. Like, slapped in the face with reality. Yes. Like, God really was like, I could break your neck with the amount of reality you're about to get slapped with. Man. Oh my God. And the city kicked my ass, bro. It kicked my ass, and it was the greatest thing ever. And then I went home, saved up all my money, didn't see the water or the beach for a year, even though I literally lived 15 minutes away, worked 7 days a week, didn't see a single friend, lost all my friends, was miserable, and I moved back into the city, and I've never changed. Yeah. And
Wow. That's a crazy story. I didn't know this, so I mean, you know, I'm sure the viewers don't know this, and
it's I got stories, bro. I got stories.
That's what it's about, though. It's so amazing to hear that you decided, okay, I'm not going to go to college, but instead I feel like this is a better option for me. And you met these lifelong friends, these amazing relationships, and this sculpted you into who you are today, right? Which is so important, you know. Like, for me, I have a similar story. Like, reality hit me in the face when I moved to the city, and I was like, yo, this is crazy. This is totally different from Long Island. I'm like, but I love it here. This is amazing. Like, it's incredible. It's like, yo, people don't realize, I guess, when you get out of your shell, like, there's so much more to life.
I think the thing that changed my mindset when moving away from Long Island, because people who aren't from Long Island don't understand the culture, and people don't leave Long Island within good reason. You have everything you could ever need. You have the greatest beaches, you have vineyards, you have the Hamptons, you have the North Shore, you have the South Shore, you have the city, you have all the airports. So people don't leave, because why would you? I get it. But in that, people can really become sheltered and have a distinct way of life and a distinct way of thought. 100%. And I realized, you know, I was very hyper aware as a kid. And I was just like, you know, I have all these friends, but do I really have all these friends? Does anybody really truly support me? Does anybody really truly want to understand me? And I wanted so badly to fit in. So I played a role real well. Like, I fit in real well. And I was like, I'm going to make this real easy for me. Like, I'm going to make my high school real easy. My brother was known by a lot of people. I was like, I'm going to ride that wave. Yeah. Make my life easy. Let me ride this wave. So, and I was like, yeah, I just like, I want to leave. And when I came here, the thing that got me was like, no one cares about you. And that is the best thing in the world, because 100%. It is so freeing to be like, nobody cares about me. Like, nobody cares if I'm lying on the street crying, like with my like spread like Patrick Star, like crying. No, everyone's like, are you good? Okay.
It's New York City. It's another day.
They don't care if you're the ugliest person in the world or the most beautiful person in the world. So when you wake up every single day and you put makeup on your face, that better be for you and no one else, because nobody cares. So it causes you to make decisions based off of what you truly believe and what you truly want. So that was like, it was
life
like,
changing.
this is like the free that
Pivotal.
I needed.
Yeah, freedom. That's so incredible. That's wow. That's awesome. So you speak a little bit about, you went like 7 days. You're working 7 days, like working super duper hard. I mean, you lost all your friends. You decided to move from something that's comfortable to something that's extremely uncomfortable, right? So like, where did that come from? Like, what made you say like, I'm gonna grind? Because a lot of people say that they're artists, but one thing I respect about you is that I view you as a real artist. You know, not to put shame to anyone else, but like, I feel like you put the grind in, you put the work in, and this isn't a part-time job. It's not like you're going to nurse school and then you're coming to be an artist on nighttime, which is totally fine. You're 100% dedicated. Where did that come from?
I'm part of the select few in life that got really blessed in always knowing what they wanted to do. And I immediately could sense from other people when they would talk to me about my dreams, when there was an underlying bit of mockery. And I would hear that, listen to what they had to say, and hear their like, BS advice about my life.
Yep.
And I would hear that and I would be like, I'm going to prove them wrong. I'm going to prove them wrong. I was like, what do I have in this life that makes me happier than making music, than singing? I learn something new every single day doing music, because like I said, like I didn't have money to have music lessons growing up. So I get to teach myself. And that is such a gift, to be able to teach myself and be around other artists. I just couldn't imagine my life being
anything different.
This is gonna piss some people off, but like,
who cares?
Anything less than what makes me happy would be subpar and would be average. And I've never imagined my life being average. So 100%. So I'm like, this is all I have. And like you said, like there are people who they'll say like I'm an artist, but a lot of the times they just woke up one day and they were like, I could do this. And then 6 months in, they're like, oh, this is like really in depth. Like you can't just like blow up. It's like you actually have to like
put in the work.
Yeah, like go hard.
Yeah.
And then they burn out, and then you don't. Yep. And I'm like, nah, this is like all I have. This is all I have. Gladly, I've been through it. I was signed to a producer when I was 18.
Okay.
Under Sony Music. It was like the worst deal you've ever seen, and treated me like garbage. And every like story you've ever heard about the music industry, 1000% true, time 10.
Right.
Horrific. And when that ended, I was like, I'm gonna go at it alone. Like I don't care. At this point, I'm like, I'm in it. So I'm just gonna push myself. And I've never. Every time something feels like it doesn't go my way, it just like pushes me harder and harder, and then things end up working out. So yeah, I've always kind of been driven like that. I got real blessed. I got really blessed like that.
You're blessed. It's in your genes. It's in you. That's incredible. It's so wow. So you describe your process as pain to poetry.
Mm-hmm.
Explain that.
Pain to poetry, like I never thought of myself as a writer. And I got into, when I got into acting school, we read a lot of plays, and a lot of the plays had a lot of poetic essence. And I was like, I think in these words a lot. I think in these ways a lot. And one of my coaches said, every single one of you should have a journal. Every single one of you should have a notebook. You can write anything in it. It's your space. It's your safe space. And I went out and I purchased a notebook, just something to keep in my bag. And On the train, naturally, anytime I felt bad, anytime I was like crying my eyes out on the 2 train, I was just like on
On the
that 2
two
train.
train.
Would just write, and I would write, and I would read these things that I wrote like days later, and it turned into poetry, and it was so easy for me, and it became like my way of creating my music because it was so honest, and it wasn't like I was trying to be anybody or to sound like any other artist. It was like I was just writing what I was feeling, and I could take those words and make them into a verse, make them into a melody. So, and my name Bidea, because that's not my real last name, but my name
I knew it.
Started out as an acronym. So
Okay.
I had like this horrible manager who was like, I was going by another artist name, and he was like, you need another artist name. It should be an acronym like mine. And I was like, okay. And Bidea originally I guess still stands for breathe in your demons and exhale your art.
Whoa.
Super deep, super emo.
Yeah, that's lit.
Yeah, but like that's, I think that all artists have kind of like a bit of emo to them, so
Pain, yeah. We take pain, and because I view myself as an artist, as a chef.
Yeah, definitely.
We take pain and we make beautiful things out of it. And that's just what we do as artists. And there's a certain level of dedication, a certain level of commitment, hard work, passion, love, that you need to have in order to be an artist, and I feel like you have all those things, which is why I'm super duper happy that you're here with us today. So thank you again. Super humble, super blessed. So
thank you.
For sure. So like you do these amazing songs, right? Do you have a favorite one? Do you have a
it
favorite
changes
song
all
that
the
comes?
time.
It changes all the time. Do you have one
I
right
would
now?
say one of my favorite ones is probably one that I'm writing right now called Sunday Morning.
Okay.
But out of the ones that I've released, I would probably say my song Everything Caramel. Because it's like this huge production of a song that I made in someone's bedroom.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's just like when you listen to it, you think like you're in this, it's cinematic. Like, and I'm like, that's the sound that I see myself singing for a lifetime. It's like big cinematic moments. Right. And I made that in someone's bedroom, and it like and the lyrics are from a poem I wrote. Just and raw. Yeah. So that's probably my favorite.
That's awesome. Speak a little bit. Tell us a little bit about the creative process that you go through, right? Because you spoke about how you had a man you were signed, right? Hated it, worst deals ever, right? So now you're doing it independently, correct? And you own this. You made this an entity, which I think brings a lot of value to everybody that's listening. Like you own your own songs, right? You believe in yourself with confidence. Amazing. So speak a little bit about the creative process. Speak a little bit about the process of that, because you're independent. You're doing this on your own, or do you have friends that support you? Like speak about your support system. Like tell us about that.
Yeah. So I created Frontline Entertainment LLC because initially, there was a lot of talk amongst artists that I kind of got into years ago, where they were like, there's always the talk of the bad record deals, right? Like an artist comes up and then they vanish, and you're like, what happened? And then you hear about these horror stories from their label and their terrible deal that they signed. And, artists all now like start their own company or label or thing. So I was like, I want to start mine because I had already gone through so much, BS with, producers and managers before. I was like, I need to solidify something and have something that's mine. And when I made Frontline Entertainment, the idea is like, people who change the way of society's thoughts are always on the front lines of change, because they're the ones taking all the hits. They're the ones taking all the initial heat. Like, so, and those are, like, those are those artists. And it reminds me, like, don't ever be afraid to like do something different and take the heat for being different. We're unique. So, once I started doing, working on my own company and realizing like, okay, this adds a little bit of an extra layer of pressure. like then it like lit a fire under my ass, and I was like, okay, like you really got, like now it's full steam ahead, like for real, for real. And eventually I moved out of my old apartment. I was living with 5 roommates, 2 dogs and a cat. It was
Amazing.
bonkers. And I moved into my new apartment, and I have a room that I built into a studio.
Wow.
And now, and it was so fulfilling. It was the loneliest 2 months of my life building this, but my like best music is now coming to fruition because of like the heart I have in this room, the things that I still want to do to it. It's like it's like my playroom. And
Wow.
I have artists come in and we collaborate. We have female jam sessions because, you know, a lot of females in the industry, you know, like we're tired, like we're exhausted, you know, like I talk to so many females and we all have the same experiences in this industry. And it's like, you know, you have a song, you're ready to record it, and then a male producer will tell you can't do this or you can't do that, or this is too much, or you're asking for too much, you're taking advantage of this. And we're like, no, we're not. We're just as talented, we're just as capable as you. You know, like I there's like so many things. So, you know, I surround myself with like-minded women, like-minded people, really, really amazing men and supportive men in the music industry, that, you know, teach me like about the business, but also like help create the music that we drive to create. And it's always great to be inspired by your peers. So even when I'm writing my own stuff, like there's still things that like my girls will come in and like my one friend plays the violin, another one plays the piano, another one's a guitarist, you know, and we jam and I learn things from them. We record, you know, we work together. It's as much as it is me, it's really important to be inspired by the people you surround yourself with.
100%. It's
Yeah,
so
so I
important.
use that.
That's incredible. Do you have an inspiration that comes to your mind, whether it's a celebrity, whether it's a friend, whether it's a family member? Like would you say you have like who's your biggest inspiration?
My biggest inspirations, I mean,
it could be something physical too. It could be trees.
Yeah.
You know,
social constructs. It's really deep. I think about this stuff all the time. Social constructs are really they not necessarily inspire me, but they pique my interest because I'm somebody that sees everything as like a bird's eye view. So, and I have what they call like a debater personality, where I'm constantly picking apart arguments and things to try and find like the underdog and try to root for something. You know what I mean? Almost play like devil's advocate for you, always trying to see from the other point of view. And I write a lot about, like, I have a song that I wrote called Silent Politics. Silent Politics, about like the club culture and artist culture in New York City, the industry culture in New York City, and how people they do power moves without saying a word, and everybody can read the room without saying anything. And there's like an entirely other conversation happening without a single word. And I write like about that. Wow. And I write about like power struggles. You'll never ever hear me write a song about being a victim, ever. Even in a heartbreak song, it's like not in my personality. I'm always writing a song about power struggles, about finding your own power, about empowering yourself. Because there's so many stories like that, you know, that you can just easily be inspired by. So that's probably my biggest inspiration. In terms of people, there's so many artists.
Yeah.
Alicia Keys really jump-started my belief that, oh, I'm an R&B singer. Like, wow, that's the music that I like the most.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you listen to her new album or what?
I haven't yet because I want to take my time with it.
Okay. You gotta really it's amazing. I'm
like a person that like I want to listen to the body of work. I'm an album listener.
Yeah, me too. 100%.
I think that once you take Beyonce said this, she was like, people don't make albums anymore.
100%.
You release and you burn out. You release and you burn out. And it comes with the age of like computerized beats, which is great because you can make a computerized beats. Kids are making beats in their bedrooms and making, you know, thousands and thousands of dollars. But like to have a conceptualized body of work that tells a story through every moment and breath, like that's
something beautiful.
You'll never find something like that.
Yeah.
You know, you can't make that in 6 months. You have to like, you can't make that in a month. You can't. It's like, you really need to think about it. I love that. So I have to take my time with her.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's incredible what she did. Like she has two different parts to it where she samples the second part. I mean, it's incredible. But I mean, I love Alicia Keys. So that's awesome. It's super awesome to hear. Wow, there's so much. There's so much behind Diana, and you spoke a little bit about your personality, but like I want you to speak a little bit more because you're like a firecracker a little bit. You got some spice to you. You're a little sizzle, you know?
Yeah.
Where does that come from? Where, like the confidence to be yourself, right? And like where does that come from?
Trauma. Trauma. Like
that's it.
What do you mean? Honestly, just I was a real pushover when I was younger. I always had the confidence. I was always dancing and running around and singing. But there became a point when I got into school, when I got into like cliques, and when I was in high school, we were in cliques, where somehow I became the butt of the joke in every friend group. Wow. And it was so painful for me. To this day, it's like when I hear an adult making harsh jokes that are like openly mean, but like they're like funny. I'm like, I don't like you. Like,
but it's not really funny.
Because I'm like, that's weird. Like it like brings back trauma. And I remember allowing whatever clique I was in to bully me, because sometimes they would bully other people. I would end up in these groups that like would joke with one another. And I felt like if they didn't pick on me, they would pick on somebody that was less able to handle it.
Wow.
I would allow them to pick on me because I was like, I guess I could take it. I could take it for the sake of someone else. Dumb. Wow. So.
Wow.
And then I realized I was like, I don't relate to anyone. I'm not relating to them. I don't have interests, and that's okay. And people grow, and I've always known what I wanted to do. And it was always me. I've always had this firecracker. My mom's like this. My dad's like this. Like we have this energy, but I was suffocating it to fit in. And the minute that I left, it was like boom, boom, but like I was my loud self. I was like my out there self, my opinionated self, like, you know, and I really had like a hunger to kind of like fall flat on my face and fail, because I was like, I want to learn. Like, I'm ready to fail. Because I knew that that's what I needed to do to learn. And I wanted to learn on my own. So I was like, yeah, always been this way. It was just a matter of like bringing out of myself, you know, allowing it to just bloom.
Just to be yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just to be yourself. I remember back in high school, I kind of went through something similar where it was just like, I let people dictate who I was supposed to be. And I didn't have the self-awareness. I didn't have the confidence within myself to be who I am or realize what that was until I went on to college and met all these people and things like that, or then traveled the world or whatever the case is, worked in different places. You know, meeting so many different people is when you kind of start to realize, okay, I like this person, or no, I don't like this person. And you get to choose. You don't have to be around anybody that you don't want to be around. You're like, I don't care. You know, this is real life. So it's so dope to hear that you kind of became yourself and you love who you are and things like that, regardless of whatever traumas or challenges that you've had. So speak a little bit about the challenges, because people think being an artist is easy, you know, and you spoke a little bit about how hard it was. You had, you know, bad deals. I mean, you turn your home studio into this amazing thing where you produce all these songs. Like, speak a little bit about the challenges that you've gone through.
Well, I think the music industry now is in such a space where it leaves a lot of, you know, artists like myself frustrated. And you know, you have to fight the battle. You have to decide if you're going to fight the battle of the industry, fight against the industry, and figure out a way to make this environment work for you. So that's where like NFTs come in, where a lot of artists are dropping NFTs. And I decided to drop my Christmas card NFTs because I said, you know what, like I've built an audience on TikTok of over 248,000 people.
Let's just say 250.
Yeah. So
100%.
250,000 people. And
amazing.
And I did that by being myself. I didn't do that by trying to go viral. I didn't do that by trying to do anything. I did it by singing and by talking and by showing my personality and by empowering people. And in my mind, I know to accept the worth that I want to be at in this industry, I'm going to put out an NFT because I know my stock is going to raise. Because I believe in myself that much. So I'm like, I'm not going to fear something I don't know when I could just do it, learn it. There's no pressure on me. I'm new to this. It's fine. 100%. And a lot of artists are jumping in there because they have been busting their butt for so long. And the industry doesn't recognize people that are talented anymore. They recognize people who have the numbers.
Yep.
So they'll give deals to kids that have never played a show in their life before.
100%.
But they did a 30-second clip on TikTok and it went viral.
It went viral. Yep.
And that's great. That's amazing.
Amazing. Yep.
But you're signing people that have no experience, people that look at this as a hobby, people that don't actually have any true artistry. And it's a shame because all they're doing is they're putting those kids in debt because the kids are signing a deal with essentially a bank for a loan for a career.
Yep.
And if they get shelved or if they, you know, don't do as well, then they owe the label and now you're out what $2 million like, and you're what 22 like, you know what I mean?
So
I think right now as an artist, people are really trying to find a way of ownership and making it for themselves. Luckily, TikTok does give a platform equally to everybody.
Yep.
So when artists that are very passionate about their vision, their art, their creation, their music, they can have that power. The power can be in the hands of a true artist, but it is very frustrating for a lot of artists to get that backing from people with the money, you know?
And that's what's so amazing about NFTs is that it's even in the playing field, right? If you have a community, if you have people behind you, you can put out art, you can put out your art and monetize off of it and build, right? So how did you get introduced to NFTs and what does NFTs mean to you?
I got introduced to NFTs because it became the talk of the industry. It became the talk of amongst people were like making money and you know, there was a lot of videos like Gary V's videos were circling, a lot of other, you know, speakers and business owners, their videos were circling talking about NFTs. And I was like, I'm not understanding this, but I was interested in cryptocurrency to begin with.
Okay.
During the pandemic, you know, like cryptocurrency kind of became like a trend for a lot of people who didn't really like know a lot about it, including myself, because I was like, yeah, let's try to win some money, like whatever. Like I'm thinking about it like the lottery, like, yeah, cool. You know, I got interested in it. I started, you know, hearing from everyone about it, talking to people in the industry about it. And then I had a management team and my the CEO of the management company talking to me, and he was like, you really should look into NFTs. NFTs are going to be the new wave of music. It's going to be a way for you to own your stuff. And, you know, when you create like a core audience, you can sell things exclusively to your core audience and all the money is just yours. So you don't have to necessarily go through a label or anything like that. But in order for that to work, you have to have a core audience. So I think a lot of people jump into NFTs thinking like, oh my God, I'm going to make like a ton of money. I'm going to be like, make it thousands of dollars. But yeah, like it's possible. It's so possible. But also like, don't, you know, don't buy into the
The hype.
overly fantasized version of it.
Yep.
You know, so I thought, like, I'm going to dabble. I'm going to drop some Christmas cards. I did a choice to do it without attaching any music to it, because my music is like sacred to me. And also if I'm going to jump into something, I don't want that type of pressure. You know, when I release music, I put a lot into it. So I was like, let me drop these. So,
and you want to learn a little bit before you
it was a learning experience, and I'm loving it. It's cool. They're getting buzz, you know.
That's dope. Why Christmas cards?
No one else was doing it. I didn't really see anybody doing it. And I was like, I can make some really cool animated collage type Christmas cards on Adobe Photoshop, you know? I was like, I could do this. And it took a really long time because Photoshop is so confusing. But
so you did this by yourself?
Yeah.
Wow. That's incredible. A lot of people are teaming up, and you said, I hear this thing about NFTs. I'm just gonna go. I'm just gonna try it out, see what happens.
I'm capable. Like, I can learn. Like, that's how I think of things. I think it's so also cool. Kind of like the like growing up, not being able to have a lot of like resources. In some sense, you have to like learn to do things yourself if you want them. 100%. So I'm like, you know, it's really expensive to like hire a graphic designer. And like, I have friends that are graphic designers. I work with graphic designers for my cover art, you know, but I was like, no, I want to, I was like, let me do this. I could do this. I've edited almost all my videos. Almost. Wow. You know, like and jumping back into, you know, the independent artist things, being an independent artist now is frustrating for this reason, because you feel like you have to learn everything, things way outside of your intended craft. But I jumped into NFTs and I'm like, cool. I like it. It's fun. It's nice.
It's, you know, NFTs are amazing, you know, and a little bit for me, you know, I share a similar story with, you know, I edit my own videos, you know, I didn't have a team, things like that. Now I'm blessed to start to build my team with the project that I'm dropping, which is No Promise Studios NFT, right? Where we're creating a platform for like up and coming artists. So people that don't have traction, people that maybe are overlooked or the underdog, right? We're providing them with the resources to showcase their work, have their own collection, and we don't want anything. We just want to be an incubator for them, which is really what it's about. You know, people talk about these deals, people talk about these situations that they're in where they don't have their masters and all these things, and it sucks, you know, to be like kind of sucked dry. So, you know, that's what I'm building right now and working on, and we're dropping our collection, which is why I was in the NFT space. I got introduced through it from Gary, who's like a mentor of mine and things like that. And I'm all about the NFTs. I think it's going to be a revolution, as it is already, you know, and and it was so cool to see other people in it, you know, to kind of believe in themselves and things like that. That's why I want to support you, what you were doing and stuff like that. I was like your first purchase, which is pretty cool. And I believe in you as an artist, you know, like imagine having Taylor Swift's first NFT or something like that. You know what I mean? Like if you believe in yourself and you think you're going to be great, which you are, you know, imagine just being able to have the first one of something like that. So that's why, where I was like, you know, I definitely gotta come and support it. And I wanted you to be able to tell your story, to share with people about what you do and who you are, because I feel like people don't know it enough, you know, not yet, you know what I mean? And it's a part of the journey. I think one thing is that you really enjoy the journey. You know, you don't kind of get misconstrued or you know, upset about the journey. You kind of just, I'm gonna prove it wrong. I'm gonna keep going, because you seeing yourself, from what I see, like a light at the end of the tunnel. You believe that's there. You know what I mean? So you're not stopping. So it's super dope, super dope. I think one of my favorite songs from you, you know, Lifeline's super dope. I listened to Lifeline. That was super dope. But the WAP remix, I mean, that shit was fucking crazy. That shit was, that shit was, I mean, I was like, I think I was in Europe at the time when I heard it. I think that's when I first hit you up, if I'm not mistaken. I think I heard it and I was like, whoa, what the, I might have been in Europe, or I think I was talking to one of my best friends, Bradley, and I was like, bro, what the, killing it.
Oh my God, I can't believe that. Okay, so, killing it.
Hoes in this house, there's some 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 hoes in this house. In this house, there's some hoes 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 in this house. I said what I said.
That's first of all, that's amazing. That. Thank you. That's crazy. You know, it's funny because I a lot of artists have this. You can't like listen back to your past work. It's like I did that because I was like, screw it, like I'm gonna do it for fun. And that was like my first. That was one of the first things that I tried to record myself and produce myself.
Yeah.
And so like I listen back now knowing what I know like through my growth, and I'm like, Jesus, Diana, like what is this? What is the levels on this? Like you couldn't EQ this a little better? Like what the heck is this? Like
nobody even knows it. Nobody even cares. They just
and like artists do this because you stress out about things, and then you're like, nobody knows. Nobody knows these things.
Nope. But it's just the perfectionist in you. Yo, it was amazing. It was like, and then the video. Like, did you do that? Like,
yeah, bro. That took me so long to do. I edited that on my. Did I edit that on my phone? No, I edited that on my computer. That's what I mean. It's like it's exhausting because it's
I believe it.
I know Adobe Premiere Pro, I know Adobe Photoshop, I know Adobe Illustrator, I know all these things, and I'm like, people go to college for this, and I'm over here trucking along, like I'm like, this is so hard.
Wow.
But oh my god, that makes me so happy.
It was incredible. Like I was like, and you edited yourself, like I was blown away. I was like, yo, this shit. I mean. Your vocals, I mean, like it was just so raw, you know, and there was this confidence behind you, you know what I mean? And the amazing thing about content is that it lives on forever, you know. You could think it's like I put up content from like last year, year before, whatever, and I thought it was shit. I thought it was terrible, right? And then I'm in an interview, right? And they're like, yo, I love that video that you made on TikTok, or I love that video that you made of you cooking, talking about this. And I'm like, dude, that was shit. Like, what are you talking about? And they're like, no, nobody cares. Like, I love it. And then I ended up getting whatever I was interviewing for because of that, for content that I did so long ago. And I was like, what? Like, this is insane. But it just speaks to how content lives on forever. And you never know who you're affecting, you know, who you're touching. So kudos to you.
Dude, that's so important. It's so important. And that's amazing. That's amazing because it is true. Like, there's a community for everybody, and there's always somebody to be touched by your work.
Yeah.
I was gonna like take down a video on TikTok that I forgot which video it was, but then somebody like sent it to me on Instagram, and they were like, I just want to let you know that this video like really got me through my week.
Wow.
See? And they're like, I just want to let you know, like, the things you say, like, really, like, so there are women who reached out to me. They're like, I just want to say that you empowered me to leave my boyfriend this week. He wasn't treating me right, and I needed to hear your words. And like, you know, it's those things where I'm, you know, I'll get imposter syndrome, and I'm like,
of course,
you know, like, am I good enough? Am I doing these things right? Should I be doing this? And then people reach out to me, and they're thanking me, and they're sending me paragraphs and essays on how I touch them, and I'm like, wow. Yeah, like all the negative thoughts are not real. So
yeah. You just got to keep on going. What does the future look like for Diana?
The future for Diana looks like an EP release. Okay. Looks like I haven't told anyone this yet, but I'm solidifying it with the universe. Looks like a movie. I got booked for a movie. Looks like touring hopefully next year. I would really love to hit a bunch of cities, seeing how my following's growing right now and the new music coming out. There's, I think there's a demand, so I'm going to follow that. And growth, deepening my craft, getting some producer credits on my own stuff. The future's looking bright.
Ooh. Like a diamond, like a diamond. Love it, love it. Is there anything that you want people that are listening, people that watch this, to know about you, to know about the craft that you do, just anything at all? Any parting words for Diana Bidea?
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good question. I'm like, am I gonna make a joke or am I gonna be serious here? I guess I would say, if there's anything that you should know about me, is that if you ever need a pick-me-up or a form of inspiration or words of elevation or affirmation, I hope my content can be of use to you. I hope my music can be of use to you. And that, like, I'll never, ever make music that I don't see as being spectacular. So you could always count on me to make quality if you don't feel like you're finding quality in other music or even in areas of your life. So, and yeah, there's just more things to come. And you can find all my music on Tidal, on Apple Music, on Spotify, everywhere you can find it. And subscribe to me on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram at Diana Bidea Music.
Boom. That's it. Drops the mic.
Drops the mic.
Thank you so much, Diana Bidea, for joining us. For real, thank you. I'm super humble, so I really appreciate you sharing your time. Time is the most valuable asset, so thank you.
Oh my God, thank you for inviting me. It's so good.
Yeah, this is awesome. So thank you.
A little reunion,
a little daily reunion. So
yeah.
Thank you.
I feel your fingers when I'm alone. I didn't wanna write about you, but here we go. Bit off more than I can chew. The truth I know is hard to swallow. Baby, believe me, the feeling is deceiving, and I can't let it go, can't let it go. I'm asking God, if you send somebody to me, please make sure that they know I'm so much more than my body. And he sent you to me, but I'll see her in my sleep, 'cause she's holding my daydreams. If she's got you, then who the fuck's got me? Now I'm crying, singing Jolene, please don't take my man, even though you can. Please give me a chance. Oh, forbidden fruit, I bit into you. I lick the sides and suck the juice. Organic baby, oh baby, now I'm a sinner too. Whoa.
What's going on, YouTube? If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. It's never been a better time than now. So come follow along, come see the ups, the downs, the entire process of this thing that we call life. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Love.
Sippin' with Sakari.